everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and we're going to continue working on Ocean Blue, and I've got most of my papers laid out, and I think I've got all my edges inked. I say that, and now I look and I see I haven't. But we're going to go ahead and start getting some things laid down. I've got so many pieces cut out that they're getting intermixed, and I'm getting a little bit confused. So I'm going to try to glue some of these down so I can move on to some of the other pages. So with that, I'm going to set these elements aside. And for the base page, this is our base pocket page here. I'm going to make sure I turn it the right way. We have just two simple flaps. We have a 4 by 8 inch flap, 4 by 8 inch flap. You're going to score a 1/2 inch along the 4-inch side. And we're going to adhere that to the right side of the pocket page. Okay. And I should have dry fit this first, but I'll do that real quick. It looks good. Okay, so that goes in. And then on the left-hand side, we have a flap. Here it is. And this flap is 4.5 by 6, 4.5 by 6. So you're gonna tuck that in, 1/2 inch score on the 4.5 inch side. So you have a finished 4 by 6 panel, and that's gonna go in centered. And I'm gonna do a quick mark here so that I got my 4-inch mark on the page. And then I'm going to get my 3-inch here. And then I'm just going to line up these two tick marks. And that is going to go in right here. Okay, very good. All right, so we got a right flap and a left flap. And then we've got a piece that's going to get installed right on top of the right flap, like so. And it is 8.5 by 7, 8.5 by 7, and you're going to score at 3.5. So you have a little flange like this. It's going to go in just like that. And before I apply it, I'm going to glue these two sides down so it's actually going to become a pocket. So again, this is 8.5 by 7. Score at 3.5. And then you're going to glue these two sides down. Like so. And I'm going to leave a little opening because we're going to tuck some designer paper right here. Okay, so now we have this little pocket. And it's going to get installed on that flap. But first we have to add some designer paper. And I also have to figure out how we're going to keep all this closed. So this will get applied like so. And then on top of all of this, we are going to add this matted piece of ephemera journaling card. So this is the 4 by 6, and I just simply mat it around it, and it's going to get installed like so, centered on this piece, and this is all going to go together. And I'm just layering it right now because I'm thinking through where I'm going to put my closures. Here is the designer paper that I'm going to use for the inside, and this is from the 12 by 12 Patterns and Solids, I believe. I kind of mix my papers up, and because this is kind of a monochromatic collection, I'm getting the collection and the Patterns and Solids mixed up. But I think it's from the Patterns and Solids pack. Okay, and then this piece is going to go here, and this is definitely from the collection pack, the 12 by 12 collection pack. And these are definitely from the Patterns and Solids. And so what I've got here is this is going to lay on here. This is going to slightly tuck in here. It's going to lay down like so. And then this is going to get installed right here, centered. So before we go in much further, I need to think about how I'm going to close this. So I think it's pretty safe to say we can lay this piece down. When I say this piece, I mean the stripe piece, because it's not going to affect any magnet placement. And so I'm just sliding it slightly into the pocket. Make sure I can get it all the way where I've got a nice little border. And actually, if I had it to do again, I would have put the paper down before I glued my pocket closed, which you guys might get a chance to do that instead. There we go. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to glue this in, and then I'm going to close my pocket at the top. I'm not happy. I'm going to shift it down. It needs to come down just a little bit. All right, there we go. Okay, so that goes in. And I'm thinking my magnet's going to go on this side, which means I can go ahead and add this piece right now too, because the magnet will definitely be on the back. Okay, now there's just a little bit of lift here that I'm going to go tack down on both sides. There we go. All right, now this matted piece of ephemera is just going to get centered here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm trying to gauge, here we go, how far for the glue to come up. So it looks like the glue needs to come to about right here. Okay, so that helps me draw my line so I don't go over. Okay, there we go. And again, this is just a simple piece of matted ephemera. I'm pressing this all into place. And then it's going to be, there's basically a pocket behind it now. Okay, so we'll put an insert in there later, but I just want to get the main design features in. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is cover this flap, because this is all going to get installed here. And I'm putting off putting down the main mat because I haven't figured out where I'm putting my magnets yet. That's in now. Okay, and then this is going to get installed like so. And it's basically, I think I'm going for the midline, the center line here, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to get a rough sense. And I'm thinking before I do that, I probably want to put the back on here. So I'm going to flip this over. It's going to be about centered, which means I need a mark here and a mark here. And basically this piece right here, because when we open it up, we don't want this to be black cardstock. I need to trim out a piece of paper to fit there before I glue this down. Okay. All right, so I got that done or figured out. And then we've got this last piece that's going to go here. And I need to think again about where my magnet's going. And I think what I'm going to do is place my magnet here and on here. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So I'm not going to glue this down just yet. Let's see. Actually, is that what I want to do? Probably. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get this piece covered or get this piece cut out so that I can locate my magnet and then adhere it here, and then I'll find the matching place over here. So let me go get a piece of paper. I'll be right back. Okay, let's finish this page up. So I had to take a break and actually have a little snack. The day got away from me. It was lunchtime. We need to place our magnets, and I also went ahead and trimmed out the rest of the papers that we're going to need. So here is the plan. Got paper stuck everywhere. So we're going to put a magnet here. I'm not sure where yet. This is going to be applied like so, and it's just going to be centered up and down, and then I just want kind of an even border around this. So what I'm going to do now is just make a small mark here, because I know my magnet needs to be over on this side, between here and here somewhere, and I'll put the opposing magnet on this side when I get it glued down. I got my fat tape here, which will help. And I want to make sure it's far enough over that when I put this down, it's not going to leave an exposure right there. So I think that's going to be fine. Excuse me, I think that's going to work fine. I'm going to burnish that. Okay, this is the piece that I am going to put on the back side of this. So it's going to be applied like so. And then this is going to get laid down right about here. So this is the challenging part. I know I'm going to be fine here, so I'm going to go ahead and get this. Actually, I was going back and forth on which side I want. Do I want the words or do I want the octopus? And I like both, but I think I like this a little better. So I'm going to go ahead and get this down. And I'm loving this collection, you guys. It's so pretty. It's very different for graphic to have just a couple of colors in the collection, but I really like it. I really like it. Okay, that's in. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to glue this in glue this down. And I think I'm gonna just do, excuse me, sorry about that, these 3 sides so that there's actually a pocket behind it. Kind of going back and forth on that. And it looks like I already made my little tick mark, so, or did I? Nope, that's not right. Okay, so I'm gonna write a little tick mark, and that way I know this part is all gonna be adhered below the pocket. So I'm gonna trace my glue here. I'm gonna leave a gap so that I can slide this designer paper down, okay? And this is actually bigger than I need it to be, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim this down real quick. And it looks like, let's see if that's gonna work. And it will, 2.5. Okay, so that's just what I trimmed off. I'm gonna put glue down here. I'm gonna turn it over and place this, and then I'm gonna slide this paper in. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because once I get this adhered to this flap, then I can place the magnet. So I can't put this designer paper down yet because I don't know where the magnet's going. Okay, I'm going to turn this sideways. I want it centered here. And I'm just doing this visually, but you can measure it and make tick marks if you want. All right, so now that I know where this is going to be, I can place my magnet. There we go. All right. Yep. And see, there's still plenty of room here so that when I put my paper in, the magnet won't be exposed. So let's do that real quick. I'm going back and forth on which side it was. Oh, this is not, this goes here, sorry. Here it is. I'm like, this doesn't look right. This is the one. Okay. Patterns and Solids 12 by 12 collection. I think. Definitely 12 by 12. I am using just one 8 by 8 in this page layout, or at least so far that's all I've used. And it's this one. So this blue piece is from the 8 by 8. Everything else is coming from the 12 by 12, either the collection or the Patterns and Solids. And somebody had, wrote me a note saying they really appreciate me letting you guys know. So I'm going to try to do a better job of letting you know when I'm using what size pattern in the construction process. All right, there we go. So that's it. All right, so okay, so now that we know we're not going to put anything underneath this as far as a magnet goes, we can go ahead and get this large mat put down as well. right, there we go. Here's what I've chosen to go here. Everything's inked and ready to go. Yikes, I hate it when that happens. Oh, that stinks. Oh, I'm so disappointed. That'll dry and it'll look better, but it's still gonna show up a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I can tell you what happened. I was gardening this weekend, and that always happens when I garden. It seems like for the next 2 days, my hands are just not functional. I'm just gonna have to give it up completely. So that is what this is gonna look like. And then I've trimmed out this piece to go here, and we're almost done. I'll try not to drop it. A little too much glue. This is where wet wipes come in handy. I don't like to use it on the paper, but I like to use it to clean my hands back off so that I don't have glue buildup over time. But let's go back over the overall design of the page. Here we go, and I've just got this little piece of paper that I'll show you. So there's a pocket here. And I will design something to go in here, but right now there's a pocket here, and it goes the full length. Then on the other side, we're gonna have another pocket here, and then this opens like so. So that is the design for this page, and I'm really liking it. So the magnets are right here and right under here that are holding this all together. And I'll probably do something over here to try to mask my mistake, even if it's something as simple as, you know, putting an alternate piece of paper in here just to draw your eye away from it. And then also remember, this will be a pocket, so there's likely to be something sitting in here anyway. So that was kind of a bummer, but it happens. And that is the end of this page, and I hope you guys like it. I'm pretty happy with it. Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and we're going to get started putting together page 2. So page 2 is going to be a double pocket page, and the pockets are going to be staggered, and they're going to go the full width of the page. And what I've decided to do is keep my pocket flat and just use glue around the edges, but you don't have to if you want to create a gusset. I'm going to give you the measurements for either way. So like I said, I'm going to keep mine flat because I want my pocket to be very tight. So the smallest pocket is 4 by 8. The second pocket is 6 by 8, and they're going to stagger just like this. And so you'll see a 2-inch gap from the top, from here and here. Now, if you decide that you want to have a gusset on the sides and across the bottom, the 1/2-inch gusset that I normally do, you're going to make this 9 by 4.5. 9 by 4.5. You're going to score a 1/2 inch on either side and a 1/2 inch on the bottom. So again, if you want the gusset, it's going to be 9 by 4.5. If you want it flat, like what I'm doing, it's 4 by 8. And then respectively, if you want the gussets on here, it's going to be 9 by 6.5. So basically you're adding a 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch, and a 1/2 inch. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So because these are going to be layered and I don't have a gusset, I won't be able to tuck the paper inside the pocket. So I'm actually going to construct this by putting down the mat first, then adding a pocket, then adding the mat, then adding a pocket, and then adding a mat, like so. That's not the order I'm doing it in, but that's what I'm going to do, okay? So with that, I'm going to start with the top mat, which is this one. And because it's a 2-inch gap, I made this 2.5 inches. 2 1/4 would have been enough because it's going to be partially covered by the next pocket that goes in. All right, well, I'm going to pull my chair up and we'll get started. And this is page 2, and page 2 is going to be replicated on page 7 as well. So if you cut your panels, you can cut 2 sets. And I need to make sure I'm doing, yeah. I want to make sure I was doing my pockets right side up. I'm going to turn it around so I can see these edges. It's nice and cool today. It rained on us yesterday, and one of the things I like about that is my art glitter glue stays wet longer when there's a lot of humidity in the air. It makes it kind of nice when you're crafting. During the summer, it can get a little challenging because it dries so fast. Okay, that's in. So now we're going to put the next pocket on, and this pocket is 4 by 6. I'm sorry, 4 by 8. 4 by 8. And it's just going to lay right on top, and we're just going to run a bead of glue along 3 sides. And I've decided to do a flat pocket because I'm not going to put a whole lot in the pocket. But if you want a lot of room, then I would suggest you add those gussets. All right. Okay, that's it. Okay, so the next thing is the mat that goes on top of that. And it's all trimmed, ready to go. I am going to turn it over so I can see my edges a little better. All right. Okay, and now here's our last pocket, which is the 4 by 8. 4 by 8. It's just going to get adhered to the bottom, and it's just going to go flush with these 2 corners. All right, and then here's our last mat, which is going to go down like this, and that's going to look beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to trim that, or go ahead and get some glue on that. There we go. Okay, so I am going to use this ephemera card. I just like the way that when I tuck it in, this guy is showing. So I haven't matted this yet, but I'm going to mat this and put it in this pocket. I really like that look. And then I'll mat and put something back here too. So there'll be photo mats in these pockets, but they're not done yet. But for now, page 2 is done.